today is day 20 of the hardcore 30-day discipline challenge, in which I'm trying to break bad habits, build self-discipline, and become a better me. And here are the rules for the next 30 days. 1 workout every day. 1 meditation every day. Read 5 pages of a book every day. No social media except for allowing myself to post on YouTube. No ultra-processed food, and no watching any TV, videos, or any content. I'll also be sharing my screen time at the end of the video so you can see I'm not cheating. Today is Thursday, July the 3rd. Let's get into the video. 7 o'clock, time to get up. 10 kilograms going in the bag. Wake up, Heather. This morning's breakfast is some yogurt, pear, apple, raspberry, some honey. This morning I took the dogs for a 35-minute walk with 10 kilograms in the backpack, and then when I came back I did a 45-minute power yoga flow. But honestly, I woke up feeling really lousy and it was my own fault, so don't feel sorry for me. But at around 4 a.m. I woke up and I just couldn't get back to sleep, and I had something on my mind and I was like, oh, maybe I should check the computer. And I knew in my head it was a bad decision, because the screens at nighttime is a no-no. It's the #1 rule for getting bad sleep, and it's gonna wake you up even more. And so I knew it was a bad decision, and yet I still did it. And now I'm facing the consequences of my own actions. And so this morning I had planned to get up at 5:30, but I pressed snooze because then I was super tired. And so I got up at 7, and then everything was a bit late and I was feeling a bit lousy. And this just goes to show what happens when you start your day in the wrong way. If you do one behavior that starts your day in a negative way, it then offsets a domino effect of negative behaviors. When you wake up tired, maybe because you've been staying up late on your phone or watching Netflix or whatever, you're already offsetting yourself to have a bad day. You're more likely to then press snooze in the morning and then just choose a quick, convenient breakfast choice because you can't be bothered to make anything. And it's just a domino effect. And when I got up, I had that little whining voice in my head, you know, the oh, I'm so tired today. Today is a hard day. And then I was just like, let's shift this. It's literally the start of the day. I'm not gonna let a bad morning ruin the rest of my day. And so what that looked like for me was that I was just going to do like a 20-minute yoga flow, like a kind of chill yoga flow. But I was like, no, I need to like shift this energy in my body, because I like this phrase, right? It says, emotion is energy in motion. It's energy in your body, and you can shift your energy. You can shift how you feel from movement. The mind and the body are so connected, and unfortunately, like especially in the West, we have disconnected them. We treat them like they're different when they're not. They are literally one. And you have the power through your body and through physical movement to shift your mindset, to shift your thoughts. And so anyway, instead of doing a 20-minute flow, I was like, I'm going to do a 45-minute power flow. Even though I don't feel like it, I'm tired, but I'm going to shift this. It's going to be hard work, and I'm going to shift this energy. And I do feel better for it. I am still a bit tired, but that's my own fault. But that little whiny voice has gone, and now I'm like, okay, I'm more grounded now. I'm more centered, and I'm going to open up my laptop and I'm going to have a productive day. I'm going to have a good day. Don't let one slip up affect all of your other actions. You have the power to be like, you know what? I'm going to change this now. I'm going to get out of this negative mood. I'm going to go out for a walk for an hour. I'm going to go to the gym now. What can I do to shift my mood? What can I do to change the trajectory of my day? That's how I like to think about these things anyway. And then, of course, to learn the lesson, which for me, the lesson is, Heather, that was a mistake, opening up your laptop at 4 a.m. It was a stupid mistake. And I'm not going to beat myself up for it, but just realize that I made a choice, and that choice seemed to be the wrong choice, because look what happened for my morning. So I got to learn the lesson to not do that again. Anyway, I'm going to get into work now, and I will see you later. Lunch is some leftovers from last night, a sweet potato and kidney bean chili with some Greek yogurt. So I got a comment from someone who was saying that they're struggling to keep consistent with their journaling practice, and I thought I'd answer it in this video because I think this could benefit some other people too. But first, let's talk about why is journaling even helpful, because I think a lot of people have this idea in their head of what it is, and they think it's kind of cringe. They think it's like someone just writing down like, hey, dear diary, today I went to the supermarket, and then I went to the cinema, and then I brushed my teeth. And I'm sure some people do that, and that's fine, but I'll explain from my own perspective of why I think journaling is so beneficial. But ultimately, if you are trying to work on a certain area of your life that you are unhappy with, maybe it's a certain behavior or a habit that you keep doing, in order to actually grow and get and improve that area of your life, you need to become more self-aware and more reflective. And unfortunately, a lot of us are really unself-aware of our own thoughts and feelings and emotions, and I'm including myself in that bracket. And this is where a lot of our bad habits stem from. They stem from our lack of self-awareness, and instead we are constantly reacting. We are reacting to all our emotions. We feel bored, we start scrolling on social media. We feel sad, we start drinking alcohol. We feel stressed, we start eating food. We feel insecure, so we start shouting at our partner, and we're just constantly reacting to everything. And so guess how you become more self-aware of your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors? It's by observing yourself. It's by taking time for reflection. And most people don't do this. We go through day by day reacting to everything around us. We're unconsciously reacting to our emotions, which lead us to act in certain ways, and before we know it, we're heading down a bad path. And so if you seriously want to start breaking certain habit patterns, then the first step to doing that is awareness. You need to build up your self-awareness. And I'm going to share with you a really quick story of how journaling changed my life, and then I'm going to give some tips for journaling. But I shared in a recent video that I used to have a social media addiction of like 9 hours a day, and I could not motivate myself to do anything. I couldn't take action on anything. And for years, I went back and forth with this problem. I knew it wasn't a good thing in my life. I knew that it kept taking up so much of my time and I wasn't feeling good mentally, but I just didn't do anything about it. And I used to journal about it. I used to write how social media was making me feel. I was comparing myself to other people. And then one day I was sitting down and reflecting, and I was curious to look at my past journals from like a few years ago. And I started reading all of these entries about social media, how I was saying how negative it was and how it was impacting me. And in that moment, I was still addicted to social media. I'm opening up this book, looking at my past self, and in that moment, I still had the addiction, and it was like I just had this wake-up call where I was like, Heather, you have been struggling with this problem for years, and you have done nothing about it. It was like I was able to see things from a broader perspective because I was looking over the last few years, and that very day, I took action and I deleted all of my social media accounts, and that decision changed my life forever. And I talk about this in a recent video. I can leave the link here if you want to hear about that. But hand on heart, if I didn't read that journal entry, I'm not sure if I would have made that change, because I wouldn't have had that moment of seeing things from a different perspective. Journaling can honestly be so helpful in getting you to spot your own toxic patterns. But okay, let's get into some tips, because this person said they're struggling to keep consistent. And so my first question would be, why do you want to journal? What benefit do you want to gain from journaling? I'll be honest, I think the internet can glorify a lot of these good habits, and it makes it look really aesthetic and really cute, and you know, it's like a girly routine in the morning. But the reality is, this stuff is hard to do, and it can be hard to commit to it. And a lot of us can be very influenced by what we see online, and we might see someone else doing something and we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, it looks quite cool. And for the person who asked this question, I'm not trying to imply that that is what you're doing, but I just want you to be very clear on your own reasoning for journaling. Like, what is the benefit and the reasons that you want to journal? And I would really encourage you to write out a list of all of the reasons and benefits that you want to gain. And this would be a great list to look at when your motivation is low or when you don't feel like journaling. Look at your list to remind you why this is important to you. Now, the next thing that you said is that your prompts aren't working. And for anyone who doesn't know, prompts are just like questions that can help you to start writing. So for example, what went well today? Or what do I want to improve on today? Or what did I not like about today? Prompts can be very useful for beginners, because a lot of people are like, well, what do I say? What do I talk about? I don't even know what to write about. For a lot of us who haven't done journaling before, it can feel kind of cringy to be writing to yourself. And so prompts prompts can be a good way to get you started. And so if you find certain prompts aren't working, or you've been doing the same prompts for a long time, I would suggest maybe changing the prompts, finding different ones that resonate with you more. But honestly, I would really encourage you to just try free writing. And by that, I mean just write down whatever is in your head with no structure and no pressure. For example, you might write, "This evening my mind feels so scattered. I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about that, and my mom said this to me and it upset me." Just let whatever's in there come out, even if it's messy or random. Often, once we start writing, more thoughts will come, and then before you know it, you could be filling out a few pages. And if you're feeling stuck, literally write that out too. I'm feeling stuck. Why am I feeling stuck? Oh, because I'm kind of thinking this is a bit cringe. I'm being judgmental to myself. Okay, why am I being judgmental? Literally have a conversation with yourself with the pen and paper. There's no right or wrong way to journal, but it's just about letting your mind speak. And if you don't know what to write, I would just encourage you to even write that sentence out. I don't know what to write, and set a timer for like 15 minutes and just sit with those thoughts. This is the whole point of this reflection. You have to be able to sit with yourself. You don't want to just abandon it the minute you're like, "Oh, I can't think of anything, I'm going to go on YouTube." Give yourself the time to think and sit with that uncomfortable feeling. I'll give you a bit of perspective on how I journal, but I always journal about like my goals or things that I'm thinking about for the future. I also journal like things that I learn. So if I'm reading a book or listening to a podcast or I've watched a YouTube video and something really hits me, I'll write it down in my journal so that I remember it and can come back to it. I also journal if I have a problem bothering me. I will just like word vomit everything onto the page, and I'll just try and like organize my thoughts. I'll be like, why is this happening? Why do I feel like this? What is the problem? What is the solution? How can I make myself feel better? What can I do next time? What can I learn from this experience? I also write pros and cons lists for things, and this could be anything, even like staying in a friendship. Like, do I want to be friends with this person? What do they bring me? What do they not bring me? How do they make me feel? Journaling is a place to dissect your thoughts and get to know yourself better on like a deeper level, and try and use it as a curious space, not a space to be judgmental, but a space to ask questions. Why do I feel like this? Where does this feeling come from? Why am I scrolling for hours of the day? What am I trying to avoid? What am I not happy with in my life? This is how you build up a relationship with yourself and improve that connection, and also how you improve certain habit patterns in your life. And lastly, the final tip I'll say is to always leave your journal in a place that you are going to see it, so that you'll be triggered to remember to write in it. So for example, I would suggest maybe leaving it smack bang in the middle of your bed, because then every night as you're winding down, as you're getting ready for bed, it's so obvious, you're going to see it, and that's going to make you think, okay, I should take some time right now to do some journaling. I hope that was somehow helpful to you. And again, if anyone is wanting some help with a certain habit, or they're struggling in a certain area with a certain behavior, let me know and I'll give you my perspective of how I overcame it or what I did, and maybe it can help you too. I'll answer it in another video or whatever. I really hope that can help you out. Day 20 is complete. It is 20 to 9, so I thought I'd do a little rundown. I finished work at like 5:30, and then I did some journaling, because after my little journaling talk, I was kind of inspired. I was like, I should probably do some journaling. So I did some journaling, and then for dinner I had like a chicken salad, and then I just did some reading, hanging out with my mom, talking to her for a bit, playing with the dogs, did a meditation, and I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. So let's do a quick screen time check of the day. Today is 28 minutes, my top one being WhatsApp, because I was speaking to my dad. And that's it. Boom, bam, bosh. I'm feeling good, excited for tomorrow, and I will see you then.